um, self-centeredness brought me to my knees. And that's really what it was. I had a deconversion moment. I think a lot of people may go through a deconversion moment where they realize the God of their fathers or what they were taught about God might be wrong. I opened my mind up to what could be.
Mm.
Forgot everything I thought I knew about atheism, everything I thought I knew about God, and was able to have my own God experience. It was great. You touch on something really interesting with the world or our lives not always being a bed of roses, right? I mean, mankind in itself, we spent a millennium of nothing but heartache. Everything was a struggle for a million years, however long humans have been on the planet. We're not ready for soft, cushy, uh, no struggle yet. Our wiring it isn't ready for the easy road. And so if we don't have it naturally, if we don't have a natural struggle, we're going to create one up in our minds. I come in and out of it. One of the things that I'm thinking about now is that perhaps there, along with God, there is a devil, and that there is a negative spiritual force pulling me to try to convince me of these other things to keep me away from my birthright and blessings. Could definitely possibly be true if God is real. Perhaps the negative side of that. Napoleon Hill wrote a great book called Outwitting the Devil.
Oh,
You
yes.
that such a good insight on
Very.
the inner workings of the negative part of the positive,
And the
force there.
audiobook version is scary.
Yeah, it's really
Scary.
good. That's how I do most of my books is through audio. There's a few like I bought Outwitting the Devil. I listened to it, and then like that was one of the books that I studied for a while, where I listened to it over and over, and then I finally end up buying it and I read along with it and I mark stuff out and try to quote stuff. Extreme Ownership was a book that I used
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
Alcoholics Anonymous, the big book, is a book that I study. There's a few that are like that, and Outwitting the Devil is one of them. Just to have a perspective on how I'm being tricked
Mm.
with all this shiny shit using the primitive part of my brain, and there's an actual force. It's not just me. It's not just me being stupid. That's part of it. It's me being naive. That's part of it. But when there's a trickster out there that's building the shiny signs to get me off the highway,
Mm.
saying, "Look, you're tired. Here's a rest stop. Look, you're hungry. Here's a restaurant. Get off course. Go, come over here into the woods
Exactly.
where we can slow you down on your destination to greatness."
Absolutely. And I just want to throw in for good measure to my audience Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. You know the writer, Think and Grow Rich? Outwitting the Devil was the last book he wrote in his lifetime, but in the express will of his last will and testament would the book be released because it was so ahead of its time. And of course, Hill was thought of as a snake oil salesman with his various thoughts on how to grow and think rich. And the moment Outwitting the Devil hit the shelves, a lot of people started to look the other way. So much so, in fact, that a certain writer by the name of Steve Dace, better known as a journalist, would write the book A Nefarious Plot. How's that for a little bit of anthropology for you in that regard? And exactly what Will is saying. There are thoughts, there are notions, there are outside forces out there that want us to go off the beaten path. And it's oh so prevalent. Oh so prevalent. You can't deny it. And it's going to happen to you as well watching this at some point or another. Not a threat, not a warning, it's a promise. It's a promise because it happened to him equally as it did to me.